In 1971, a divisive quarterback controversy erupted between number 14 Craig Morton and number 12 Roger Staubach.
No, yeah, you can use them pretty much in here. Yeah, you can
Meredith, who had retired, showed up at practice one day, and he told Morton, he said, "Curly, this guy is a little bit nuts. You better watch him. He may get your job."
Roger was the type of guy that he couldn't be friends with his competitors.
He knew that I wanted his job, though, so we weren't friends.
It was a very tough decision for me to decide which one was going to lead us into the 70s.
Coach Landry lost maybe a little credibility in the fact that he didn't name a starter and say, "This is my man, this is who we're going with, and we're going to build a team around him."
Landry decided to alternate quarterbacks by game. 1 week Morton, the next Staubach. And a season begun on two wings and a prayer threatened to crash land on takeoff.
Roger was always on the verge of making a big play, but at the same point, I think Coach Landry thought he was also on the verge of making a bad play.
Bad plays became bad games. Then bad omens portended disaster when the groundhog popped up, then down again, a sure sign of a long winter of discontent.
Yeah, there was a lot of controversy about who the quarterback's going to be, and there's a lot of people that were calling for Roger.
There's no question there was division on the team.
I don't know, he always thought I was to blame for losing all the games, and he would be in the locker room, and there'd be some press around, and a couple of times he'd just point at me and said, "That's the reason we're losing." And he'd point over and he said, "Morton."
When Landry decided to rotate his quarterbacks by play, he dumbfounded sports writers.
I always say, well, I had a feel. And that's the worst thing a reporter wants, is to somebody to say you got a feel.
Quarterbacks were aghast. The team was, threw up his hands and thought, what's next?
I looked over at Craig, he's looking at me, and he said, "Geez, did he just say what I heard he say? We're going to alternate plays?" And it was really, to me, ridiculous.
It was silly. The whole thing was a joke. It was alternated plays.
There's like two ships passing the night. We're running back after a play, and I think one of the poor decisions that Tom Landry made.
This dizzying quarterback carousel marked the flashpoint of the crisis. Landry thought that no matter who the engineer was, the train would stay on the tracks.
It was a great coach deciding no matter who's behind the center there, as long as they do what I tell them to do, we're going to win.
Landry to this day will tell you that he thinks that's the ultimate system.
I'd still do it today if I was coaching. They won't like it. People don't like it.
The Cowboys staggered to their third loss in 7 games. 2 days later, the season was dramatically saved by Tom Landry.
He called me up 10:30 at night, and he said, "Can you come over and go in his little trophy room and sit down?" He says, "Well, I've decided to go with Staubach. Thanks for coming over." That was it.
I think it was probably a flip of the coin. I don't know how they did it, but I was the most excited I've ever been in my entire life when they told me I was going to start the rest of the season.
I think Roger was capable of pulling games out where maybe Craig wasn't.
Craig went into some games with some doubt about whether he was going to win or lose, and I don't think Roger ever went into a game like that. I think Roger always went into a game expecting to win.
Behind their inspirational general, the Cowboys won 10 straight games, including their first Super Bowl triumph, where Staubach was named the most valuable player.
Landry was pledging the team's future to Staubach. The other guy was destined to be the number 2 from here on out, so the loser had to leave town.
In 1975, Morton was traded to the Giants for a number 1 draft pick named Randy White. 3 years later, their paths collided in New Orleans. Morton was the Broncos quarterback, while White was an all-pro.
It was a tough loss. It was very disappointing. It hurt a lot. That really hurt a lot because, some of the records I hold are the worst ones in the Super Bowl. I remember one time when my son was little, he was watching ESPN about the game, and he called me at the office and said, "Dad, I didn't realize that you throw so many interceptions in the Super Bowl." I said, "That's your daddy."